As you know, Sarah Bailey asked me about gender fluidity. That made me research this intriguing topic, and consequently, I realized I needed to ask myself the question if my soul tells me I'm a man. And yes, it usually does, but not always. That must mean I'm gender fluid. And finding out about that was quite the revelation for me. So in this video, I want to share with you how I reached the conclusion I'm gender fluid. Let's get to it. When I was a child, I identified as a girl. I wanted to be a girl and wear girls' clothes, have long hair, do my nails and stuff like that. My mom didn't let me. I primarily played with girls though and didn't really like boys. Never saw myself as one. I remember that my grandmother secretly used to let me dress up in dresses. I loved that, and I put on jewelry, lots of it, to match the outfit. And I had a period when I was 8 when I walked around pretending I was holding my 19th century gown like this. Yep, I often lived in my own imaginary world. In my imaginary world, I looked like this when I held my dress in my hands. I also loved playing with Barbies and My Little Pony dolls and didn't like to play with cars or toy machines. I didn't like my male sexual anatomy either, so I certainly wasn't like the boy in this picture. Finally, before and after gym class, I never wanted to go into the boys' locker room as I didn't see myself as a boy. Why did I identify as a girl? One reason I identified as a girl is probably because I had gender dysphoria. It's apparently more heavily linked to adult homosexuality than to an adult transgender identity, especially when it regards boys. Many gay men experience gender dysphoria in their childhood. Besides, I believe an additional reason why I identified as a girl was because I'm gifted, as gifted boys are usually more similar in behavior to girls their own age than to boys their own age. Finally, I was a kid in the 80s and early 90s. Back then, I felt girls were freer. I was jealous of them 'cause they could act and do whatever they pleased. If they wanted to put on a boy's shirt or wear shoes for boys, they could. If they wanted to play soccer, they could. If they wanted to be really girly, they could. If they wanted to be tomboys, they could. It felt like no one or nothing impeded them from doing anything. Boys, on the other hand, could only wear boys' clothing and boys' shoes. If boys wanted to do ballet, it wasn't really acceptable. If boys wanted to be girly, they couldn't. I felt boys weren't as free as girls were, and that's why I was jealous of girls. And that's also one big reason why I wanted to be a girl, and even saw myself as one. However, when I was 14, the boy in me took over. I stopped identifying as a girl and more loved the body I was in. The fact that I started loving my male body was the reason I wanted to stay in my male body. I stopped wishing I had a female body. I didn't suddenly start to like typical boy stuff such as soccer and motor vehicles though. I saw myself as a male though because I liked the way I looked as a male. In my late teens and early 20s, the feeling I was a male grew even stronger as the people around me complimented me on my looks. Since then, I've never had longer periods of time that I wished I was in a woman's body or that I wished I were a female. What do I identify as now? Most of the time I identify as male, and sometimes I identify as neither male nor female. And I still do have days when I'm more in touch with my feminine side. Since the feeling isn't that strong though, I don't feel the need to wear women's clothing or shoes. I don't feel the need to do that as the feeling isn't as strong as it was when I was little. Besides, I'm fine with having body hair. I only have a little body hair. For instance, my torso is hair-free, so I'm fine with the body hair I do have. Finally, I don't wear makeup because I don't like it on my face or body. To sum things up, I identified as a girl until I was 14, and then identified as a boy, and then identified as a man. These days, I usually see myself as a man, but sometimes I see myself as genderless, and sometimes I'm in touch with my feminine side and ignore my masculine side. But for me, the change isn't that extreme that I feel I want to behave, look, and dress like a woman. For me, the shift is an internal one. I don't feel the need to express outwardly. Are you gender fluid too, or think you might be? Do you express it outwardly, or have you chosen not to express it outwardly? What struggles have you had due to the fact you are or might be gender fluid? Do you dare to be the person you were meant to be, or is anything holding you back? I'm tolerant of everyone and can't wait to read your story. So please tell me about your experiences with this in the comment section below. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel and watch this series from the start. Next Friday, I'll be back with a new video in my series on cognitive abilities. Till then, I only want to say 3 things. Thank you for watching, have a great day, and bye for now.